Okay, so we are on this sheet called median and mode, and what we're looking here is the employee name. They are working in some departments, and they have some hire date, years. They got some dependents, benefits, and the compensation and their job rating. Now we want to find out the median and mode here. Now, although it's not pretty useful, pretty important, but it's good to know. If I want to see the average compensation, I can simply click on this column G, and at the bottom I can have 6 vital indicators: sum, max, numerical count, count, and average. Now if you don't see all 6 of them, simply right click on the empty space in the uh, right click anywhere on the empty space and then activate all 6 of those. Now we got all 6 of those indicators here. Maybe I've got an average here. So, or I can use a function here to calculate the average. So I'm going to use a function here called average, and which numbers? All these numbers. And all these calculations happen in the background. I don't have to worry about it. So I've got the average here. Now this is an average. Maybe I want to see the median of it. Now median is actually similar to average, but a little different. Now what is a median? Median will, if you want to calculate the median, you will sort all the numbers in ascending or descending and then take the middle value. If it's odd, and average the middle two values if it is even. So if I do a smart lookup on this one to give you much better understanding, I'm gonna go to more and let's take some media. Let's see if I have a picture. Okay, this one is good. I'm gonna close this one and I'm gonna put it here. Over here you would see that, let me close this. This is how the median is actually calculated. Now I've got an odd numbers here, 1, 3, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. The middle value is the median. If I've got an even number, the average of middle two values is actually the even. Now this happens in a sorted list, either ascendingly or descendingly. But in our compensations are not sorted, they are mixed. And that doesn't need to be. Excel will do all this calculation in the background, will automatically download this, automatically sort these compensations in the ascending and then take out the middle value if it is an average. If it is an even, it will average the middle two values. So all I need to do is just put the function here median and select where I want it to be, press enter, you get an answer. Now over here we see median is more than the average here. Now it can be, some of the cases it can be. Now if I want to see another similar function is the mode. So mode is like the most common item, like what is your mode of transport to work. So some days you may go by your own car, some days you may go by train, some days you may go by bus, someday you may go by taxi. But what is the most common, most frequent item? So most frequent, maybe you go by helicopter. So your mode of transport to work will be helicopter. So what is the mode? What is the most common item? Let's say I want to find out the most common job rating. So I use a function here called mode. And if I want to have multiple numbers, multiple modes, I can use multi. Or if I want to have a single mode, single number, single most common item, I can use a mode single. And I press enter. Fifth is the most common job rating. But on the other hand, if I take an average of job rating, I'll get a different answer, 3.06. Now 3 is an average. Average job rating is 3, but not the most common. Most common job rating is 5. Similarly, let's say we got some dependents here. So what is the average of dependents? Average dependents, how many average dependents do somebody has? Around 3. And what is the mode? Mode and single. And what is the most common dependents that anybody has? it's 3. So in most of the cases, in this case, it's the same, but more or less, mode will always give you a concrete number. It's an integer. It will always be an integer. It will not never be a decimal value. So always be an integer here. So this is a mode. Mode means most common, and mode will be used only for numbers, not for anything other than numbers. You can't have a most common employee name or most common department. No, it doesn't work like this. It has to be a number. It has to be a numerical value. So average and mode and median. We saw examples of all three of these. Let's take a look at another one. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you should see it more clearly. Over here, we got some different regions and their monthly, let's say, rent. So I've got here AP, MP, UP, West Bengal, and J&K. So we got monthly rents here. So what we want to see here is maybe we got different averages and we have different medians as well. So some of them you will see the average may be higher, but the median rent is lower. So average rent what people are paying is higher, but the median rent is that's the median. That's the middle number. What is the median? So this is how the average and median may state some difference. Where you want to use it, whenever you're sending some document, some data to the management which has an average, it's strongly advised to show the median as well. So it's a statistical function. If you are from that background of stats, you would know the importance of median. It's pretty important, and I would strongly recommend you to, along with the average, start showing the median if you start doing so. Okay, so questions, if you have any questions, put it in the comment box or in the chat box, or you can ping me. And with this, let's move on to the next chapter here, the rank function. And I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can see it, watch it more clearly. Okay. Now, we got some employee names in column A and their compensation in column B. And we want to calculate their salary rank. What is the ranking of their salary from the highest? Let's say if the highest is number 1, how much is this? What is the rank? Where does it stand? Now it doesn't have to be, I can sort it. I can sort the compensation in ascendingly and descendingly, and I can put some numbers, or I can simply use a formula in order to rank the compensation without having the need to sort the data. No sorting required. And I'm going to go to column C here. I'm going to put the function here called rank. Now, if you put a rank here, now whenever you see a function which has an exclamation mark next to it, it means that simply means this function is going to get retired. So don't worry on that one. Now another function, the newer function is rank EQ. You can still use rank function if you wish, but I would stick to rank EQ, the newer version of this function. Number, which number I want to rank? I want to rank this number, this compensation. Reference, where do you want to rank? I want to rank in column B. And then the third parameter, which is optional, you want to have a descending or ascending. If you don't do anything, you'll have an ascending version. So which means that this is the 45th highest salary. And I'm going to copy this down. And which is the highest one? This is the highest one. Now, if I do it otherwise, which is least used, let's say ascendingly, and I press enter, this will become number 1. It will become in the reverse order. And the highest will become the 45th. So it's just the order of how you want. If you don't type anything, it will automatically be descending order. And that's the most commonly used. The highest the number, the better the rank it is. Maybe occasionally you want to use it. Otherwise, the highest the number, the lowest the rank. So you can make it ascendingly. But descending is the most commonly used. So this is how you can rank the number of items. Over here in column F, G, H, and I, we got some dates here and some of the items that have been sold. we want to rank them. So of course we got to rank EQ, which number? This number. Where? In column G, and press enter. This is rank number 4. And if you look closely, we got so many duplicates here. And if I let me go back here, what if two people has the same compensation? Let's say over here we got same compensation. I'm gonna make this compensation same. Now I have 44, or let's say I have this person has the same compensation. Keep an eye. This is number 2. I'm gonna highlight it. If I make this compensation same as number 1, I don't have number 2 here. I have number 1, then number 1, and then number 3. Why number 3? Where is number 2? Because there is no number 2. Number 2, the second position, second rank is occupied by the first position. So I'll have 1, then again 1, then 3. And the same thing is happening here because we got so many duplicates here. So I got first, then I got second. I don't have third. I have second again. Now I will not have a third rank because third rank is occupied by the second position, or the second position, third position is occupied by the second rank. So then I have fourth, then again a fourth, then I may have one more fourth. Now what to happen in these cases? How do I deal with such situations like this? Now in these cases, what you can do, or what is strongly recommended, is to average the ranks. Now remember, you're not averaging the numbers there, you're averaging the ranks there. Now how do we do that? So equal rank average, it's a function there. Which number? This number, comma, where reference? Here. Press enter. It will automatically average the rank. See the difference in column H and I here. I'm going to copy this down. First will of course remain first. Second will become 2.5 because I don't have a third. So 2 plus 3 is equal to 5 divided by 2, 2.5. So let me sort this. And I'm going to sort this smallest to largest. Now look at this. So second and third. Now fourth, fifth and sixth. 4 plus 5 plus 6, which means 15 divided by 3, 5. So all of them will get a fifth rank. Then this is called the averaging of the ranks. So we are not doing anything other than just averaging whatever the ranks are and their positions with the number of duplicates. Let's say I've got another 29 here. So I've got 5.5. I've got another 29 here. So I've got 6. How? 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it comes out to be 6. So this is how the average of the ranks work. Now this has given the average ranking of all these numbers. This should be clear. If you have a question, put it in the chat box or the comment box at the bottom and I will be surely answering those. And by the way, last time I got a comment to consider showing the Power Query. Don't worry, Power Query is on the way. We'll be there with you in maybe next couple of weeks. I will be doing a session on Power Query in depth. Let's take a look at the another chapter here, large and small. Now this is pretty easy one. We got some employee names here and their compensation here. I want to find the highest compensation. Now there are two ways to find the highest compensation. The first is I can use a max function. So I can use a max function, so it will give me the maximum value. What if I want to find the second highest? Do I have a function for that? Well, maybe. And sometimes this is a pretty good question. How do you know there is a function? Well, sometimes you do not. The best way to find out the function is go to the formulas tab and insert function. Now based on like your Google search, you can probably search something. Maybe I want to find out the highest number. So I want to put high. Do I have a function? No. High item, high number. So maybe I want to do high number, or maybe second high number, second high, or maybe I want to put a second largest number, and how about the largest number? And we have a function called large. And click OK. and we got an array and k. So I'm going to put a function called large, and where array means where you want to find. I want to find here in column B. K is a constant. K means which largest. If I put 1, it will give me the first largest. And I've got number 2, second largest. So I've got number 2 written here. So I'm going to use that one. So it will give me the second largest. And in Excel, we type formula only once and then we copy. And now have a first largest, second, third, and fourth, and fifth largest. Now you know that there is a function called large. You are already made a guess that there is a function called small. Where is the array? Here is the array. Which small? The minimums. I'm gonna answer. And over here, small, this array, comma, this number 2. And second smallest, third, fourth, fifth smallest. And you get an answer here. So you can use either the max function to get the maximum value. Remember, you can't get the second maximum value using the max function. In order to get the second highest, third highest, or fourth highest, you need to use the large function. Alright, so I'll wait in case of you have any questions, comments. Let's take a look at that. Since no questions, no comments, let's move on to the next chapter. On a very nice afternoon today at Sunday. It's almost 11. Let's move on to the next chapter. Count blank. Now, in this chapter, I've got some employees. I've got hire dates and their years and the compensation and their ranking and the benefits and the job rating. Now we want to calculate how many. Here are the questions. Now we want to calculate how many total blank cells are there in column F. Now keep an eye here. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can see it clearly. How many blank cells are there in column F? So I put here equal. Is there a way to calculate them? Yes, there is. How? Equal count blank range. Where you want to calculate blank? Column F. I press enter. You get 10,48,081. These many are blank. Are you sure? Yes, because you have selected the entire column F. And how many cells are there in the entire F? 10,48,576. So these many cells are actually blank. So, but what if I want to calculate only from this range until 742? So I can get here maybe, and I can type in maybe F2 to F742. I press enter. And I've got 247. So 247. So 247 people are not getting are not getting any benefits. So I've got 247. Now, I want to calculate the blank cells from F2 to maybe F742. So that should be that we have already done that. Now we want to calculate here maybe total cells in every column. Is there a way to do it? How many total cells in every column? So yes, there is. Equal count A. Count A will calculate the cells that are not empty. And I'm going to select all of those. I press enter. 2921. So total cells in every column that contains data are 2921. So what if, is there another way to do it? Because I may start providing benefits to some of the people but not all of the people? So is there a way I get this number updated all the time? Because if I go back here, I've got 247 here. Let me put this, drag it to the bottom here. Let's say, how about this one? Let's say here. Over here. Let me put it here. Now, if I put a child education here, this number will not change. This number is actually changing, 246, 245. And this is until, because it is up to 742. Right. Now, what if I want to select only cell till cell number 497, F497. Count blank. There is nothing blank here. And if I remove this, there is one blank, there is two blank, there is three blank. Now, is there a way these numbers can get updated automatically without me having to worry about it? Yes. So what we're going to do, or what we're going to do here is, or this compensation gets calculated automatically, because some of these people may come and go. This list can grow or shrink. So I don't want to be calculating this again and again. Is there a way this can be calculated right automatically? So what do I going to do here is, we're going to create a table. So how do I create a table? I just select the data, scope it, press Ctrl A, Ctrl period a couple of times to see the depth of the data, and then press Ctrl T to create a table. I've got a table here with the banded rows and banded columns, and I've got a table design here. I came here, and now I'm going to use that equal count blank. I'm going to calculate the blank cells in column F. So count blank, which is the range? Where is the range? The range is in my table. So I'm going to use table 1. How do I know it's table 1? Because if I click here, I'm going to have a table name. And I'm going to name it maybe HR table. Right. So I've used count blank. Where is the range? The range is my HR table now. In this table, which column? I've got headers here. Now, which column? The benefits column. So with the solid parenthesis, solid bracket, I'm going to select benefits and close the parentheses and bracket. Press enter. I've got 248 columns, cells that are blank. Now, if I remove this, and it will automatically update. And if I add something, it will automatically keep on updating. And I don't have to worry about over here. Maybe if I type something like maybe dental and visual insured, maybe over here. And then if I go back, I'll have a different number, 45. So this list will keep on updating. And not only this, if I want to calculate the compensation here, let's say I use sum. Where? In HR table. Whose sum? What sum do I want? Maybe this compensation, which is salary. And press enter. Now this is the sum. Now if I remove something, this number keep on updating. If I add something, this number keep on updating as well. So I don't have to worry about changing the range of my formula. Right. Okay, let me check there. I think there's something wrong with the camera, and I hope the screen is visible, but there is something wrong with the camera. I just checked it. Let me see what we can do here. Okay, for some reason I think this is not working. But I think it's more the screen should be visible. So I have continue with this session, and I'll take a look at that baby later. So let's continue. Uh, so we have these special these count blanks that we have calculated here. So if you have any question, just let me know, or we can uh, we can continue. We can carry on with the next. Okay. So let's move on to the next chapter here. Let me see if there is anything. Okay, yeah, there is something more. Let's cover this as well. Now over here, maybe I have some employees and their data is there. I want to calculate the total of all of them because the total is already there. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to delete this one and this one. So let's say I have the total here, and I'm going to calculate this one. So what do I do? Maybe this is the total, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a table here, and I'll give it a name, maybe sales, and I use a function here called, maybe I want an average of sales of all of these. So which is the table? Sales table. And I want maybe all days average, maybe Monday average, and then in the sales table I want the Tuesday average. So now you see it's pretty much of a typing that you want to go through, but the benefit is that in case if the table grows or shrink, you don't have to worry about typing or readjusting your formulas. It happens automatically. So it will be very easy once you set this up, and it should be ready to go, and it will be very helpful once you set up, just to make sure that you don't have so many columns here. Smaller the data, the better it is. So over here I've calculated all of those, and the average is 7. If I change it to sum, I've got sum here 514. If I select all of them, here is the sum, and here is the average 6.76, which is 7. So you see how you can deal with these situations like this. So if you create a table, it's much more easier than you can imagine to make sure your data is always up to date, be it you're calculating the count blanks or any kind of data that you want to calculate. Okay, with this, let's move on to count and count blank, count A. Now, I've a question for you. Honestly, put your answer in the chat box. I've got some employees here, and I've got some job ratings here, and the compensation here. Now, how many employees do I have? I've got maybe 100, is 100 and minus 1. So 1 is the header. So how many employees do I have? 99. Right, 99 employees I have. Okay, let me put it here. I've got 99 employees. How many job ratings do I have? 99. Okay. How many compensations do I have? 99. Okay, very good. How many sales data for last 7 days? Let's select entire column and minus will subtract. So I've got 93. Okay. Sales made in last 7 days. 93 people made sales in last 7 days. I see some of them are blank. Don't worry on that. So 93 is the total number, but we have a header also. So I'll make it 92. Now, how do I calculate all this? So we got two different functions here. So the first function is count. Count will calculate all the cells that contain the data, and numerical count will calculate only the cells that contain numerical data. So if I use a function here called equal count, it will count, what does it say? Count the number of cell in the range that contains numbers. So I'm going to calculate all the numbers here. So if I select column D, I will get 91, which is this number. And count A will calculate how many cells are there which are not empty, which means which contain something. So which means that how many employees are there? 100. So 1 is the header. So I'll subtract 1. So 99 employees are there and 91 employees made sales in last day. So if I select here, and if you remember, I've got 99, this is a match. Over here it is 92. So which means that this is 93, which is a count, minus 1, which is not a number. So I should get 92, and count function is actually counting the numbers. So this 92 should match with this. Like this, 99 and 99, they're matching. So where is the problem? Which means that one of this is not a number. Which one of this? And you might have already guessed, but let me highlight that for you. This is not a number. This is a text. So how do we do it? Well, the foremost, the simple rule is numbers on the right, text on the left. So if I remove it, not do any alignment, automatically numbers will move to the right and text will move to the left. If I make it number, automatically I'll get the answer 92. So let me undo that. So this is not a number. This is a text entry. So that is the reason we're getting 91 here. And if I change it to number 1, I will automatically, this number will move into the right. Otherwise, this will automatically move into the right and this number will match. So count will count the cells that contains only numbers, and COUNTA will calculate whatever cells which contains any information, be it a number, be it a text. If it is not empty, it will be counted using COUNTA function. So another formula which we can use, let me undo that, to find out if this is a number, this is a text. I'm going to use a function here called isNumber. So this will check if this is a number. So this is a number, yes, true. And I'm going to copy this down. And I'm going to filter it. Check. This is another way to check it. I'm going to remove the blanks here. And I can see here which one is false. This is the false. This is not a number. Alright, so this is also showing the false, which means that this is not a number. So again, a very useful way to find out the data when you have not prepared the data. Somebody else have prepared the data and it has fallen into your lab and you're trying to figure out what's going on, trying to understand the data well in advance and trying to remove the errors and make it a little clean. So count, COUNTA, COUNTBLANK, these functions, these are all part of statistical function, large, small, rank and rank average we learned. We also learned mean, median and mode function. And I hope these functions will be helping you in your upcoming assignments and different to build up different strategies. With this session comes to an end. Not a long session, but it's a useful session. Thank you very much for joining in today. Please subscribe to this channel, and I'm making a genuine effort in order to ensure the knowledge is transferred to spread across to all those who are genuine learners. Thank you very much for joining in today. Your support is very much required. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.